3 News Now Web Extra.
First of all, thank you everybody for showing up and all the kind words you said. I don't do many of these talks, and part of the reason, to be honest, is because I get a big head after I'm at one of these things. So it's good to go back, you know, with my kids who think I'm a nobody, and it's important to me. So, but I'll take it while I can get it. So I got some questions here. Some better than others. I won't say which ones are the good ones. First is thank you for what you do. Is there another journalism adventure you would like to try or do or pursue just because? You know, I've done all different kinds of reporting. When I started at CBS, they kind of liked my storytelling style, so they had me doing more harder news. And like they had me covering a school shooting and things like that. And I just, yeah, I know, it seems so weird. But they did have me do that for a little while, and I think they realized what I knew all along is I'm not that good at it. And I don't want to do it. I think we're good at what we like doing. And so there isn't really anything else I would want to do. I'm kind of happy with what I'm doing. There's a part of me, although it's becoming a less and less part, that I would like to maybe anchor the Sunday morning show if Jane Pauley ever retired. So if you want to start a letter writing campaign. Let's see. Do I have a mentor in my career? Yeah, I have Scott Pelley would be a mentor. There's people that nobody really mentors me, but there's people that I watch and I quite frankly get jealous of because they're so good at what they do. Andy Rooney was one of those people. Meeting Andy Rooney was one of the highlights of my career. I remember walking into his office the first time. It's like walking into your TV screen. It's the strangest thing. You round the corner and there he is behind the desk, just like you've seen all that, you know, all those years. And the first thing he said to me, he said, "Hi," and I wanted to start the conversation off, and I looked at the floor, and there was a little leather box on the floor, and I said, I like that box," and he said, "I like things you can put things in." Charles Kuralt, obviously, you know, I remember watching him as a kid, and I remember the way my parents looked at him and thought, well, this is somebody that I would like to emulate. I never dreamed that I would have his job someday. The rest of the story with Paul Harvey, right? He's really good. So those are the people that and Will Rogers, going way back. I love Will Rogers. So those would be some of my heroes. Let's see. Is there objective journalism today? I knew we'd get into the politics eventually. The problem with that word, finding objective, is a lot of people when they say, I want objective news, what they're really saying is I want people who say what I think. There's people that think Fox News is the most objective out there. There's people that think MSNBC is the most objective out there. There have been sort of charts done with, you know, plotting the ones on the far left and the far right, like you have Fox and, you know, MSNBC, and then it would go to, and you get to the middle of what the most, I guess, most center would be. And, you know, the network, CBS is usually towards the center, but the Associated Press is the one that ends up right in the middle there. If you want to call anything objective, that's what I would say would be the most objective. Are there any stories you find too emotional to share? I'm going to spend the rest of the day trying to figure out why you're laughing. There are times when I'm on a story where it overtakes me. Not very often. Most of the time I'm kind of in work mode, and there'll be something that will strike me really hard when I get home, but in that moment I kind of keep it together. There are exceptions to that. I was once doing a story, one of these stories about some middle school kids on a football team who wanted to do something kind for the disabled manager. They were going to let him score a goal, you know, let him play in the game and score a touchdown. You've seen that story, that kind of story before. Well, what struck me about this is I was interviewing the kids on the team, and I talked to this one kid, you know, talking about whose idea was this, where did this come from? And he started to say, it wasn't my idea. It wasn't something I would have thought of, but I'm going to be a different kid from now on. He had tears streaming down his face. And I started crying then. I look back at the cameraman and he's crying. And we're in a library and the librarian who's like on the other side of the room, she's crying. So that happens every once in a while, but by and large I keep it together. And too emotional to share, you know, when people tell me something, and they tell me a lot of things, I'm not going to share it unless I think there's some greater purpose to it, other people can learn something from. I was never one of those people that, you know, had a hard time asking a probing question, because I know in my heart they're going to be happy with the story I do. The story's going to serve a purpose, and it's going to make everybody better because of it. So, but if there's no reason to share something, it's just something that's emotional, then I'm not going to put it on TV. Tell us more about Kindness 101. So this is something we'd known for years, kind of discovered it accidentally, that teachers were using the stories, some of the stories you saw, in their classrooms to teach character education or social emotional learning, whatever you want to call it. And I found this out because I would go into schools and everybody would say, Steve Hartman's here. I was like, who? You're 12, why are you watching CBS News? And then finally I found out they weren't watching CBS News, they were watching the stories every week in Miss So-and-so's class. So we knew there were tens of thousands of teachers out there using these in that way. So when the pandemic hit, we thought, you know, what are we going to do? And I thought, well, I'll teach the classes. The kids are at home, we'll make little videos focused on different themes like gratitude and integrity and compassion, empathy. And we put those together, and my kids were part of those classes. So my daughter and my son, Emmett, are the two that wanted to be part of this. So we did these little Facebook videos and put them out there in the world for people to watch, for kids to watch. But it ended up not being just kids. In fact, it wasn't even mostly kids that were watching these things. It was adults, even though I was catering the classes to, like, you know, third grade level. And so CBS found out about that, and they wanted to put me on the mornings show doing something. So I said, why don't we try to take this Kindness 101 class and put it on morning TV. And we did, and it was just an experiment. If you've seen any of them, it's really unorthodox morning television. But, you know, they get minute-by-minute ratings, and they know when something's working or not, and they'll see a spike, and then it's like, now I can't stop doing it. They won't let me. They just said you have to do this in the fall, no matter what. So, yeah, it's more and more work. But it's with my kids, and they kind of steal the show. My daughter Meryl's my co-host. I have that is a weird ringtone. Better than my cameraman when his wife calls, the ringtone is the Tarzan call. So yeah, they're fun little things. You can Google Kindness 101 and some of them will come up, and my son Emmett's a part of them too. And it's kind of a nice way to repurpose the stories that we've already told, pull things from the archive, and they get a second life. And my kids, you know, get to be on television.
I want to say one thing.
Yeah.
My favorite Kindness 101 is still the one that the two kids did by themselves.
Oh, okay. That's real flattering. She said her favorite episode was the one I wasn't a part of. We did one because I was off doing something. It was just Emmett and Meryl. They did the whole thing by themselves. There was no sign of me in the whole thing, and that's her favorite one.
They are her grandkids.
They are her grandkids, though, yeah. Okay. All right. In Portland, Oregon, the story of Jean and Steve. They were college sweethearts. This is a story that I told. She was white, he was black. Please retell the story. And did they marry? I believe they met in the German club. Okay, this is a story about a couple, probably 50 years ago, fell in love in college. And the mother of the white girl was extremely prejudiced, said, you're not going to go out with a black guy. As you can imagine, many parents would have been back in that day. But they were truly in love, but she wasn't going to defy her mother, so they went their separate ways. He was devastated. He ended up being really down on his luck, I think homeless for a while. And later in life, many years later, she got to thinking about him. She found him at a nursing home in Chicago. He'd had a stroke. He was just unrecognizable. But she recognized something in him and brought him back to her home all the way out in Portland, Oregon, and moved him into her house. They've both been married, and spouses had died. And so now she's taking care of him, and they're getting married in October. So, yeah, that was a neat story. And she hadn't intended in announcing that, but I think it somehow came out in the interview. So she was forced to announce that they're getting married in October. But I'm invited to the wedding. So that's all the questions. Oh, so we're still going.
And then under the wire there.
Yeah, we can go as long as you want. I don't know if you guys have plans for dinner. When are you going to write a book? Well, I had a book deal. I had a pretty good book deal with an advance, and I sat down to write it, and it's right about the time my kids are coming along. And one day I just said, this is going to take 2 or 3 hours every day for at least a year. It doesn't matter to me that much. You know, maybe when I'm older. So I returned the advance, actually, and did not write the book. But I have not regretted that decision to this day. It's not my thing. If I'm going to spend some time writing, I think my talents are best used, doing what I do. I think I can reach a lot of people that way, and I'm happy doing it. So no book in the future. And the last one I have here is, what was your most bizarre assignment? That's a long list. When I was working local news in New York, they assigned me to go, how would you get to the North Pole if you wanted to get there? That was the assignment. I had to go to the North Pole. So, turns out you get on a flight and fly as far north as you can, and then you stay in some Inuit village where they're drying polar bear skins out on the front lawn, and then you charter another plane, and eventually we ended up at the North Pole. And I just did goofy things like hopping around in a circle, saying 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, and all the time zones. So that was pretty bizarre. Anything else come to mind you can think of that's been bizarre? Now I've
Probably ones that didn't work, maybe. But.
There's which ones didn't work, Patty? So glad we brought her today.
You're the one that decides when you do stuff.
Right, no, you were saying stories I didn't do.
Yeah.
Oh, I get it. Yeah, it's very hard to come up with a story idea. People think, oh, you should do a story on so-and-so, he's a great guy. Well, that's not, how do you tease that? And Joe Smith, the great guy, coming up on the CBS Evening News. You got to be able to sum it up in a sentence, or things that have already been done a bunch. I don't want to do that, like somebody going across the country to raise awareness for such and such cause. It's got to be unique. And after doing this for as long as I've been doing it, it's harder to find something that's unique to me. I don't think there's really been any bad stories like you're implying. But we do weed through a lot of bad ideas. Yeah.
And you do have a keen eye for what's going to work.
She threw in a compliment at the very end.
How long?
Can I just say one thing? I loved my wife from the very beginning. There was no doubt, but what sealed the deal was having her as a mother-in-law. Absolutely true. Yeah. Starting to regret that now, but...
You
Yes.
said you have a producer who helps you find the stories. How long has that person worked for you? Because I'm guessing you have to have a pretty good partnership for having a keen eye on what's going to work.
Right, yeah, no, I usually, the producer's the one who finds all the stories and, has to hit that bar every week. It's a very tough job, and for that reason, they don't necessarily stick around very long. They usually get really good jobs afterwards. They go to 60 Minutes, or, they can write their ticket after they've been through this. So I've had the person that I have now for about 3 years, and she's probably going to move on to do documentaries pretty soon. So that's very stressful because that's a key person in my life, and I'm probably going to lose her. Do you want the job? I know you do. I know. You've made that clear. I have your story ideas in my pocket. Yeah. Anything else? Are we out of time? It has to end sometime, you guys. It has to end. Yes?
How did you meet your wife?
I met my wife through mutual friends. I was out in Los Angeles, and she was out there too, and we were at dinner as a Mexican restaurant. I'll never forget it. I'll never forget seeing her for the first time. Yeah, and you know, so that's how I met her the first time. Yeah. Yeah.
You said you live in the Catskills.
Yeah.
Well, how do you get to work? I mean.
Oh, that's a good question. Horse and buggy. Yeah. So work is actually at home. This is the weird thing about the way I do my job. Is I travel to the stories. There's airplanes, yeah. And that's how I get to where the stories are. And then I come home and I don't ever have to go to New York City because I edit them myself. I'm a control freak, and I obsess over these things for an entire week. And I'm not going to turn it over to anybody else to edit or write or do anything. It's going to be just the way I want it to be when I send it off. So I don't have to go to work, and I haven't gone into work, so to speak, for about 20 years. Yeah, I was, long before COVID, I was working from home. Yeah, which is good and bad. The kids are coming in constantly, you know, for any number of ridiculous reasons. But I wouldn't trade that for the world either, you know.
How often do you have to travel? I mean, do you travel every week to some place, or do you do several things in a row?
No, because a lot of the stories that we do are what I would say are competitive. NBC or ABC wants to do them as well. And so people will usually go with us first because we have such a broad reach with being on the evening news, Sunday morning, then social media. You know, they have a whole second life on social media. But they're not going to sit around and wait forever if they've got a story to tell and some other network is pounding on the door. So we kind of have to be very reactionary to what's happening in the news. Even though some of these stories feel evergreen, you know, we want to be on the air first with them. We want people to watch CBS for this. So we kind of do one at a time. So every week, yeah, I'm going off telling that story, coming back. Then the next week, going off and telling that story and coming back. Yeah. Yes, way in the back.
Have you ever had a story that you wanted to do that they wouldn't let you?
No, not really. I kind of have a lot of freedom in that way. My bosses will suggest a lot of stories that I'll say no. It usually goes the other way around. And it's hard to do sometimes. Your boss says, "What do you think of this story?" I say, "I think it's terrible." But I've got a good enough track record now that I get to do what I want, and nobody really tells you what you're doing. Yeah. I did, yeah, I did nurses, you know. I did a lot of stories COVID related, so because that's all that was in the news. And sometimes if a story is super big like that, I have no choice but to address that. Sometimes I don't, though. People want a diversion, so I give them something completely different. I've been that way through the Ukraine war for the most part. I think people need a diversion. They don't need me opining on my thoughts about the war. What was the question again? That'll happen sometimes. You'll ask me a question, I'll start talking and forget what the question was. Did I come close to answering that? Did it? Oh, yeah. So yeah, I did some stories, but you know, I was stuck at home. We were doing a lot of things via Zoom, but there were certain stories about COVID. You know, great relationships, bonds that form between patients and nurse, things like that. Yeah. Yes.
Have you ever thought about, like, I lived in a neighborhood for about 28, 30 years, and I kept saying to myself, "Oh my God, this is a book. This is a movie," because everybody that moves into the neighborhood, I mean, they're from all different walks of life, but their stories were phenomenal. I think we had an exceptional neighborhood, which made it really cool. But then we had a house in San Diego, and so every time we would go, we'd invite the whole cul-de-sac, everybody around. It's just a Midwest thing to do. And we were hearing all their stories, and they were from all over the world.
Well,
it was just a book.
Yeah, well, that's the everybody has a story concept. Yeah, that's pretty much it, because it is amazing. And what I was surprised at with everybody has a story is everybody has a story worth putting on national television. It was that good. You know, that good of a story. The thing is, they were very different from what the news had been considering important. As I said, when you start to talk about people, what matters in their life, you get all these stories that are really relevant to people. You know, people talking about faith and family and things they've been through, obstacles they've overcome. It wasn't like anything else that was on the news, but people could relate to it more than anything else that was on the news. So that was kind of a neat
Maybe
thing.
you should rent a house and go into a
Rent a house and go to, wouldn't that be like living in a neighborhood? You're still the front runner for the job right now. Okay.
One last question for Steve. Right here.
Yes.
If any of us had an idea or story for you, where would we send?
If you go to the CBS News website, and there's an on the road page at the bottom of that or somewhere in there to submit your ideas, go to there. And my producer looks at all those. And every once in a while there is something that, you know, hits that bar, and we do end up doing it. It doesn't happen very often because, you know, it is, even like I said, even my bosses have a hard time figuring out what's going to work. So, but it doesn't hurt to send them in because we look at all of them. Okay? All right, thanks again, everybody.